when you take the big guys like Jordan and James, I mean, just what are your thoughts on that?
So very interesting because I have this conversation consistently with my friends because it's updating, right? LeBron's still playing. Now that Luka's on the team, if LeBron wins a title this year, even as the second fiddle to Luka, would he be considered the greatest of all time to me? And I said yes. As of right now, I do not have him as the greatest of all time. I would say Michael. And I understand the longevity aspect of it versus the peak aspect of it and all of that stuff.
I mean, and sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead. No.
One way to measure greatness is by championships.
Yep.
And another way is by stats. What would you weigh more on, stats or championships?
Oh, I weigh pretty evenly on both, I would say. I value stats a lot, but I also value championships and winning considerably. And I know that they don't always correlate.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I mean, you can look at Tom Brady's first 3 championships, and his stats did not correlate to being a championship quarterback, not at all. But adding the 4 with good stats makes him unbelievable, right? So for me, my biggest thing is, and again, LeBron has had more opportunities for this, but I've seen LeBron fail more often in the worst spots, and again that's a hard argument because if Jordan had made it to the championship level a few times in the 80s, he probably would have lost. But I didn't see him. I saw him lose in the first round, and he was out, and I didn't think about it. I saw Magic and Bird, right? So the 6 for 6 versus 4 for 10, like that's just really hard for me. For you to lose more finals when you only have 7 games and you're considered the best in the world, like most of the time you should be able to pull that off.
Yeah, that's
what's hard.
That's one of my thinking too, is because I'm like, when you make it to the finals and you win it, you know, and you're like, hey, this is it. You know? We might not come back next season. Michael capitalized on that, and he won all 6.
Yes.
You know, James had, 10, you said? 10
He's been there 10 times, and he's won 4.
He won 4. And 1 year was COVID year. A lot of people don't consider that. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but COVID years seem to be like an easier year.
Yeah, I give that one full credit just because of the complexity of having to deal with it and the stress of life for everybody.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, for me, like, I get what you're saying because when they went to the bubble, there were certain players, good players, who just said, I'm not going to go, I'm too scared of COVID. Right. So there was a diminished level of talent that year per se, but the overall amount of stress, because everyone was so scared, that heightened the pressure to me. So I don't discount that one at all. I also 100% think that Jordan shouldn't have played baseball and he would have had 8 in a row. And that is wild to me. Like there's just no way. So like 8 in a row versus that, I know this is hypothetical, but that's 8 in a row versus 4 out of 10.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, your peak was 8 straight years of winning championships versus, a peak, a longevity of 20 years and 10 championships. That's why I fall there. But if he does it again now, at 40 years old, and he's the second best player, and he wins a 5th one out of 11, I would put him past him. And only barely.
And past Kobe and Duncan, who also have 5.
I'm so glad you said Kobe and Duncan, because most people say Kobe and Magic, or Kobe and Wilt, or Kobe and Kareem. Kobe and Duncan, that again, both 5 out of 7 championships. They both won their 5 out of 7 championships against each other. So if Kobe didn't have Tim Duncan, would he have 10 out of 14?
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if Tim Duncan didn't have Kobe, would he have 10 out of 14? Because they were directly competitors during the exact same career. So that's something that people do not talk about. They do not talk about when those two faced against each other. And that's why I have Kobe 3rd, and I don't know if I have Tim Duncan 4th or 5th. But because Kareem is up there for me. But he did 6, I think, in 6 out of 10, and he was the all-time leading scorer until LeBron. So, but Tim Duncan to me is higher than most people.
It seems like he's kind of shaded out. A lot of people don't talk about him as much.
Yeah.
But he's definitely up there with the best.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, and Magic Johnson's an interesting one because he was 5 out of 9 championships. He only played 11 seasons. Because he had AIDS, cut it short. Yeah. So in 11 seasons, he went 9 times. He won 5. And the Michael Jordan's first championship, the Lakers were up 2-1, and then he tore his hamstring.
Oh, okay.
And they were going to win that championship, and Michael would have 5, and then Magic would have 6. And then the whole discussion's different, right? So
there's so many different variables that we have to, and if you don't know these things, it's not as simple.
Yeah, there's a lot of context that goes into the GOAT discussion for sure. It's not just
Who was that on the Celtics? He won like 12. Was it Russell?
Yeah.
How come he's not brought up as much? Is it because back then the league wasn't as strong as it is today?
Yeah, absolutely. When he won his first championship, there were only 8 teams in the league.
Oh, okay.
So that's the first thing. Secondly, there was, during the prime of their championships, it was either the 4th or 5th year they won a championship, they had 7 All-Stars. So 2 of their bench players were All-Stars.
Oh, wow.
There was only 12 All-Stars on the East, and so they had 7 of the 12.
Wow. They had all the talent.
All of them, yes. Okay. There was no salary cap. They were just, it was a completely different world, business-wise, league-wise, everything. So that's why people discount him, and I think it is valid to discount it, even though he's great. And also, he went up one-on-one against Wilt Chamberlain, and Wilt Chamberlain's performances were so amazing in comparison to Bill Russell's performances.
Okay.
But that partially is because Wilt did not have a very good team, and Bill Russell could lean on his team.
Right.
But even there's a lot of people who are like, well, I didn't even think he was the best when he was playing. So
Okay, that makes sense.
If you talk to an old timer, they'll a lot of times say that. So yeah, I'm you need to not post this in New England, like.
Well, I have a lot of family in New England. I might watch it. So.
Oh gosh.
But it'll bring in some comments.
Yeah.
Now I do want to talk about